Welcome to the Off 199 podcast. We are your co-hosts, Jay,
Music Nerd,
and Dap.
We're just a few Miami boys who love talking about South Florida sports and want to bring it to you. So, without further ado,
Off 199 starts now.
Yeah, what you said.
All right, there you go.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's going on, Off 199 fans? Welcome to November. We are back with our brand new podcast for us. Let me introduce who is coming in today. We got AJack.
Yo.
What's going on? We got Nick and Josh back.
What's up?
What's good?
My usual co-host, Jay.
Yo.
And I am your boy, Music Nerd. So, welcome to November. Like I said, and football chaos is just starting. As we just had a crazy week of football with a bunch of upsets. And now we just had the CFP ranking come out, and let me get to it. Let me see where we're at right now. As you know, Miami is number 4 behind one loss Georgia and one loss Ohio State, and probably the best team in the country right now, Oregon. Filling out the top 5 is Texas. So first thing we're going to talk about is going to be the best thing that's happening in South Florida sports right now, Hurricane football. So Miami is 9-0. Right now, Cam Ward offense has been excellent. The defense, not so much so, even though they are still ranked 19th in the country and first in ACC, and he borrowed his yards and points, which is just weird. But reactions to the season so far for us. And let's start off with you, AJack.
Damn.
You've been to almost all the games as well, season ticket holder.
I mean, yeah, it's been good. It's kind of like just nervous every single game because our flaws, basically can lose any game in any single time. So it's kind of like even I go into every single game nervous. I go into every single game, not really getting too up about anything because I know our defense is garbage. So it's kind of like, I'm happy though. I'm happy for the season. I'm happy 9-0.
You sound real happy. You really do.
I mean, yeah, and man, like me, I'm a very happy person. Like majority of the time, I barely get upset. You know what I'm saying? Like especially when I watch my beloved Hurricanes. Like it's been 27 years of bliss. For the most part. So I drive to the stadium happy. I leave happy. After the game, I'm happy. My girl, she loves going to the games because I'm just happy the whole entire time. So it's just like it's just a great feeling.
That's the most important thing.
I'm happy. I bet the over on 9.5 wins. So I'm about to make me some money.
Good for you.
Heard.
Hey, we could lose. Hey, we could lose all 3 games, or we could win all 3 games.
You could.
It's like hopefully, we at least win one, so I get some money off of this season. So, so I'm in the middle because we just gotta finish this shit. If we don't, I'm used to this. I'm used to this shit. So yeah, that's how I'm feeling. Feeling like in the middle about everything.
So yeah, we'll go from that optimistic take to Nick. Let me get your opinion as an FSU alum and someone who went to a game a couple weeks ago.
On Miami season?
Yes, please. Miami season.
I think you guys have had a very good season. I think this is what I've been waiting for as a non-biased FSU fan, if that statement makes sense. Like, I don't hate Miami. I want y'all to win every single game except for the game we play y'all. And I think this is exactly what I've been waiting for. I think I've been waiting for you guys to have a decent quarterback or a quarterback that can actually move the ball. You guys have that. I think it's a very good season. I think this season has been a success for you guys. I think y'all's defense definitely is suspect. I definitely thought it was better than the beginning of the year than towards the end of the year. I think y'all's defensive line is solid. Y'all don't have much linebacker play. I don't think your secondary is as bad as some of y'all do. But it's not as bad as you guys think it is. It's not great. I'm not saying it's great, but it's not as bad as when I talk to y'all. But, I mean, you guys just have holes on defense. I think Cam Ward reminds me of a gunslinger, so you kind of live and die by what comes out of his arm. He's not as bad as Brett Favre, but he's got the arm to make every throw, so why not try it? I think he needs to be a little bit smarter with some of the plays that he chooses to execute and the plays that he chooses not to execute. But other than that, I think it's been a very good season. I think you guys should be very happy with where you guys are at. I know you guys have had a few scares. I wish you guys could shore up the run defense a little bit. I think that would balance a lot of things out, especially for y'all on defense. But That's pretty much my overall opinion of you guys.
Jay, let me get your opinion.
All right. I'll say this because I have a lot to say.
I know you do. I know Jay does too.
I really have a lot to say because, like, I get all right, Miami's not a perfect team by any means necessary. But these media pundits be making me so mad because, like, the fact that Penn State is even in the top 10 after that game, after I saw them not even score offensive touchdown,
Nope.
bro, that's infuriating, bro. And like, and you say that we're overrated and still have Penn State in that conversation.
That's just because of strength of schedule.
But that's the thing about that. The strength of schedule is pushed by the media. It's pushed by Big Ten.
Miami has a better strength of schedule than Penn State.
How do you think that?
Because Miami's the only team that has gone 4-0 against the ESPN top 40.
Okay.
Miami, like no one else has 4 wins. No one else has no losses against top 40. The only team that can, not even Oregon, which is probably the best team in the nation, can boast that. They only have 3.
And I'm convinced that like none of these media and pundits watch games. I watch Georgia. I watch Texas. I watch Ohio State. Like, these teams aren't much better, if not equal to Miami.
I don't think Ohio State's
Will Howard and Carson Beck are killing their teams. Like, seriously, they could be a really
Carson Beck especially.
Killing them.
Carson Beck especially.
Yeah, Carson Beck's killing his draft stock.
He is killing. Yeah, he came in as the number 1 quarterback.
Like,
I think that's what he is. But he came in as the number 1 quarterback in the draft board, almost every draft board.
That was crazy to me. I knew that was wrong. We all knew that was wrong.
It doesn't matter because you're not talking about Kuiper.
You can't tell me Texas shouldn't have killed Georgia the way he was playing. And if Penn State had a competent offense, they would have killed Ohio State too.
Yeah, because Ohio State didn't do anything.
They had to sit through weeks of.
I've been saying that all year. Ohio State's not that good.
That Clemson was going to beat Miami and be the SEC champion. Y'all got me effed up, man. Do y'all watch these games? Like, seriously, bro. Like,
Clemson has not been
impressive. Cannot move the ball.
But let's get to talking about the Clemson. And I'm glad you brought that up because I want to bring that up because we talked about this in our chat and everything like that. What stood out to me most about that game against Louisville is that Clemson cannot play behind like Miami can.
Nope.
Like, and that's coaching. That's this. There's a lot of things that Clemson should have done to get them back in that game. They didn't do one of them. Not one. There's times where you go for it, where you go for it, then they kick field goal, and then they get blocked. Then when you score a touchdown, there are times they should have gone for 2. They went for 1. And so basically, they're making it harder on themselves at almost every turn. So one thing people like to talk about, like Manny Diaz not being good at managing Manny Diaz. I'm sorry, blasphemy. Mario Cristobal not managing time and everything like that because of what happened against Georgia Tech last year. But this year, that has been a non-issue when it comes to it. I know that's what a lot of pundits are saying is what's holding them back from saying Miami can be like a true national title contender. One thing also I'm going to say, if you're a Power 4 team, you're undefeated going into November, you're a national title contender. Indiana is a national title contender. That's just how it goes. That's what happens when you go into November. Now, you can fall out of contention with losses, yes, but you're a national title contender if you go into November undefeated.
Hot take.
Yeah.
Only trust 2 teams in the nation to come back from a double-digit lead. That's Miami and Colorado. Everybody else, that shit done.
Interesting.
I think Indiana can. I think Indiana has the offense.
I never seen Indiana.
But Indiana hasn't really played a top 40 team. They only have 2 wins against top 40.
Yeah, pocket for that.
So we have to see that.
Pocket for that.
Indiana is they still have a lot to prove, especially down the stretch.
Well, we're gonna find out about Indiana when they play Ohio State. That's what we're gonna find.
Exactly.
But Jay, you want to continue on your hand before I go to Josh? Jay, you want to continue on, or you want me to go to Josh?
Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
Depending who Texas plays, they can come back.
Yeah, Texas, yeah, too.
Tennessee
All right,
too.
Josh.
Tennessee too.
I don't know about Tennessee. A double
Well,
digit.
How about Tennessee? I
I think Tennessee can. I think they have the
come back
offense
in the
too,
game.
but
I don't know about
their
double
first
digits.
half offense is not good. The second half offense though is amazing. It's excellent.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
I'll give you a second half offense can. But Josh, let me get your opinion as an FSU alum and somewhat Miami hater.
Yeah, Nick is capping. I wish nothing well for Miami, nothing at all. So I honestly don't know where that is coming from. However, as I've
we're not the same. All I'm saying is, if they're good by the time we play them, it makes us look better.
My time. Thank you, Nick.
That's the only thing I'm saying.
As I've said before, credit where credit is due. A team that is undefeated needs to be considered one. Two, yeah. I'm on record saying this as well. The good teams find ways to win. Point blank, period. It doesn't matter if you're behind. Interesting thing about this Miami team, a lot of those deficits. Well, admittedly, I'm not able to watch college football as much as I want, compared to one team. But what I will say is this team reminds me of that 2014 FSU team where Jameis' second year.
Who else did I hear that from?
Where they
heard that on somebody
behind nearly every game.
That is kind of true. Yeah.
And they would just come back and win. And again, the Jameis was throwing picks left and right. So I think it was more of an offensive problem than what Miami is facing right now.
Never more execution. That was an issue with that team.
Right. Precisely. And so what I'm seeing now from Miami, right, is this style of play where it's like we have that confidence that no matter how far down we are, we're going to be able to overcome it. Against Louisville, were you guys down against Duke? Maybe I forget who it was, but you're down.
We faced three 10-digit double-digit deficits this season against Duke, Cal, and Virginia Tech, and have won all three.
Good.
We were down by 4 by Louisville, but other than that, we actually never trailed that game.
Okay. Good teams find ways to win, period. And if you're undefeated and you found ways to win with having double-digit deficits in multiple games, there's something to say about that, right? That you can turn your offense on, your defense can get the stops that are needed, and that's all about football. That's what football is about. That's important. So I do think that part is good to consider. I think the flip side is that culturally, I'm used to, and I'll say that this is just me, but I also think many people are wary of this, especially on this call, that Miami is prone to dropping games that they should have.
Oh no, Miami loses games they shouldn't.
Right. So earlier, I think I'm also on record saying Miami's good for a good 3 or 4 losses, especially in a row. So we're going to see how the rest of November turns out. Nevertheless, I think if Miami can get out of their own way, and I do think that means fixing whatever defensive problems they have, and getting a more consistent offense throughout the entirety of the game, they're going to be poised to make a run in the playoffs. I am curious of what will happen in the ACC championship game. I don't think Clemson is in it right now, depending on what the records are. But if
right now it's collision course between Miami and SMU, and both
Miami and
both of them have 3 games left where they'll be both favored by double-digit points. Both teams.
I'm very interested in seeing if Clemson is somehow able to squeak in. I'm very interested in what that game could be, because I think that would be. I think Dabo Swinney would have. I think he's able to coach his behind off when it comes to games like that. So,
Dabo?
Yeah. So
Dabo's falling off, and I think that's because he's lost both coordinators. That's a whole separate conversation.
Say what you want. Well, this is my time to speak, and so I think that would be very interesting to see. But you know what? Hats off to SMU. One, because they really are showing why
we talk about the Miami Mustangs.
The Miami Mustangs, precisely. Their first year in the ACC, and showing why they perhaps should be.
They belong,
as long as the ACC is in existence. But that's my take on Miami. Congrats, to you, boys.
Interesting take. Well,
unfortunately, we had to
touch on a few things
that y'all be good.
I
said, unfortunately, we have to be dog shit for y'all to be good.
I don't think it has anything to do with what's going on with y'all, but we will talk about what's going on for the state later on in this podcast. We have a whole section for that. That's why I'm so glad that you guys came on today.
I do want to ask, how has your year been with Colorado?
Say that. What's the question again?
How's your year
been with Colorado?
I think it's been
Fantastic. We get videos every week.
Oh, really?
I love watching them. It's awesome.
it's thrilling.
Josh living his best life in
What
Colorado.
do you do? I'm sorry, but what do you do?
I'm a mental health therapist
Okay.
in the athletic department specifically. So I work with a bunch of student athletes. And then I also do like some outreach for the team. So one of the teams I outreach for directly is the men's football team. Or the football team. So they utilize our department and practices during games. So I get to travel with the team, things like that. And it's a ton of fun. You get a unique vantage point perspective, and man, it's a lot. There's a lot of things that people don't see. Which I
think Warren Sapp at the grocery store. But yeah, that's awesome.
nobody's seen that. What a time, man. But anyways, yeah, it's there's a lot. Yeah, I think the media has a certain perception, but I think there's a lot more behind the scenes that doesn't get discussed, that doesn't really get.
I think they're wrong. I love the job that I think Prime has done in Colorado. I think that they've become I think they're one of the best stories in college football right now, the way they played. And I also think we'll talk about this a little bit later, but I think Travis Hunter is the Heisman frontrunner, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But speaking like talking about the things that can be improved, like when it comes to defensive improvements, what do you think can be made? Let me start off with you, AJack, since you are a season ticket holder and you see it a little bit more than we do. When it comes to the defense.
But like one thing about FSU, the reason why like I don't feel bad, I laugh every time they lose, is because this whole soliloquy about us always
time to talk about FSU, okay?
I love that shit. No. I love that shit. Love that shit.
We will have time to talk about it, but can we answer the question, please?
My fault, big bro. My fault, big bro.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I mean, stop playing man as much because we can't guard. How about that? Stop leaving your run stopping middle. Yeah, stop leaving like your run stopping middle linebacker in one-on-one coverage versus 4-3 guys. How about that? Stop playing one high with the dude who runs a 4-6. How about that? Stop leaving 5'10" receivers in one-on-one coverage versus 6'3" receivers. How about that?
5'10" corners.
Yeah, De'Anthony Hill, like leave him one-on-one. Stop leaving garbage man corners in one-on-one situations. How about that? Oh, he's hurt now, so rest up to him. Rest up to him.
Jadis Richard. He's talking about Jadis Richard.
Rest up is crazy.
Rest up to him.
Oh my gosh.
Rest up is wild.
Just stop playing man coverage. Play a little more zone. But we we may be garbage at that because we play zone versus Louisville, and a certain guy, thought he was playing robber instead of his cover 4 principle and allowed a wide open touchdown. So I don't know what these guys, man. Like this is one of the worst secondaries I've ever seen. I don't really care what y'all say. It's not as bad. No, it is bad. It's bad. I don't care what y'all say. This shit is terrible. Because like it's one thing for me to think last year our secondary wasn't that good. Every single fucking year they prove me wrong.
Oh my god.
It's like because watching it live, them being like, no, you got him. No, you got him. No, what are y'all doing in the hike snaps? And then a nigga just runs straight by somebody, and then you go and tell me it's not that bad.
Yeah, that is a different kind of pain. I'm not
then you go and tell me it's not that bad. When I see Kiko look at his man going, take a second longer to react than normal, and then run after him as he scores a touchdown, and they just throws his hand up like he ain't do nothing wrong. So like try playing Zaquan Patterson. He a freshman, so I get not playing him or whatever like that because I've heard a number of times that you don't want to play certain freshmen too much because you may ruin them. And I get that, especially since he's a safety or whatever like that. I get that part, but
Jaden Harris, that time is past now.
Yeah, Jaden Harris sucks. So it's like, and me sucks too. But it's like, he decent. He get interceptions or whatever like that. So I guess you got to leave him man or whatever like that. So, I mean, try more guys. Hey man, like I don't really got much to say about that. They suck. It is what it is.
Jay, is there anything else to add to that, or did he kind of cover everything?
I think he OD'd it, but
Yeah, he did.
Wow.
I think the main honestly for me,
but I have to respect it because like there's only so much I can see on TV. He's actually on the ground seeing the coverage buzz that we don't see that the quarterback might have missed.
No. All right. One more point, because how stupid the DBs are. You see our middle linebacker go out wide in coverage, and you're in one high. Julian, because you used to play safety. As a safety, you see your middle linebacker in one-on-one coverage with a running back. What do you do?
I checked up zone, actually. I would
Cool,
check the
cool.
zone.
Fair, 100%. But if you're still in man coverage, what do you do if you in one high?
I'm helping the guy out.
You help the guy out.
Help
You
him.
stayed over there. You leave the other DBs and other safeties in one-on-one coverage, but you don't leave a fucking middle linebacker in one-on-one coverage with a running back. Because what did Florida State do the previous week? But we got away with it. They put our linebacker in one-on-one coverage and we got away with it because Florida State sucks. We got away with it.
Did we drop
it?
Why wouldn't you shade?
Yeah, when he dropped the
why
pass.
wouldn't you in one high shade over to the guy who cannot cover in space? It like on top of our DBs not being like the most athletically gifted guys, they're idiots too. So it's even more frustrating. But yeah, go ahead. My fault. I'm done.
All right. One thing too, I do think Miami's defensive line has to be better. We are not getting as many sacks as we do. That being said, we still lead the ACC in sacks, but I think they need to get home a little bit better. That has not happened the last few games, in my opinion. I think that will help. But one thing I do want to ask, do you think Miami needs to rely a little bit more on the run game to kind of extend their drives to give these defenses a little bit more time to rest?
It's not. I would actually push back on the pressure thing. It's not that we're not getting to the quarterback. It's that they're playing a quick passing game on us.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of it, but like there are also times when they're rushing. They're rushing 3 and dropping 8. Tyler Barron shouldn't be 10 yards down the field covering somebody. So that's also my opinion on that. Tyler Barron on a 3rd and 8 shouldn't be 8 yards down the field covering someone.
That's true.
Rushing the quarterback.
That's true.
I think Miami has the perfect defensive line alignment for pass rushing with Simeon Barrow, Akeem Messador, Ruben Bain, and Tyler Barron. And for me, I just don't think they get home enough. I mean, that is what it is. But
Tyler Barron been tackled too high.
He needs to break down a bit better.
What's Miami's what's their defensive alignment? What's their starting defensive alignment?
It's a 4-3.
4-3.
It's a 4-3. It's a 4-2-5.
But they do multiple. But they have multiple looks.
Okay.
But starting, it's a 4-2-5. There's only two linebackers on the field.
Oh yeah, that's right. My bad. Because I forget that Daryl Porter's actually a nickel.
Mm-hmm.
So he's right. 4-2-5.
Sure.
So basically, one word answers for this, guys. How far do you think Miami can realistically go at the point it is? Let me start off with you, Nick.
How's that a one-word answer?
Not a one word, like a one phrase answer, basically. One phrase answer. My bad. I'm sorry.
All right. Re-ask the question.
How far can Miami realistically go? Is this a national championship contending team? Or is it just AAC championship team? Or is it not even that? What do you think?
I think you guys are ACC champs. And I think you guys make a playoff run. I don't know if you guys go for a national championship. I think Elk's defense is a little too suspect for that. But I'll say this. If somehow you guys clean up defense in the next 3 games, you guys make a push for the national championship. I think y'all's offense is that good.
Yeah, that's true. It is on par with 2019 LSU and 2020 Alabama. Only thing that is different, Miami actually has a better running game than both those teams. So AJack.
That's why I think y'all are good, because y'all running game. That's why I think y'all are as good as y'all are. I'm really not that scared of your receivers. I really think Cam Ward's just a really good quarterback. But I think y'all's run game is really good.
I agree. Actually.
AJack, how far can this team go?
We can get lucky because if we play a team who can nickel and dime us and force us to tackle in space, I think we're cooked. But if we play like a more traditional offense or whatever like that, the crazy part is I think we're actually fine because I think it will allow our D-line to get pressure. But if we play a team who will scheme up deep shots who nickel and dime us force us to tackle in space, I think we're cooked. So it's like I think we win the AC championship, but it depends on who we play coming off our bye. But farthest I think we'll go is like we could win that game coming off our bye. So I guess the semifinals, that's probably the farthest I think we can go.
All right. Josh, what do you think?
Yeah, I think you guys make a run in the ACC. If you don't win it, I still think you probably could be invited to the dance. Given that, let's say you do win it and you do get that first round bye, I think there are probably better ran offenses that can exploit those weaknesses on defense, and those are just mistakes you don't want to make in the playoffs. And if you've been making them all season, they're going to find a way to exploit that and to make it happen. So I can see that second round being Miami's bow out because they're not going to be able to overcome those defensive errors.
Hey, what about you, Jay?
I've been very coy about my predictions of the Miami Hurricanes this season.
We are well aware, but it's 9 games.
That is so true. He refuses to answer Claire's question.
Not say anything, but today's a day. Because I've watched a lot of college football this year, and like AJack said, we can get lucky, and based off of the average play of any team that I've seen, like the top teams, I can feel we can get to the national championship. To be honest with you, I think we can get the best of Georgia.
It's not coy anymore.
So what you think Miami's going to be last year's Washington?
Based off of what Texas showed against Georgia, I think we have a combo of D-line to Georgia. I think we can get Texas. I don't know about Oregon, but I definitely think we can get Ohio State. And that's just us playing. I see that we can play because I don't fear those offenses anymore. I fear Texas offense more than the other two, but I don't fear Georgia offense. I don't fear Ohio State's offense. If it was a different quarterback for Ohio State, maybe, but I don't fear those offenses. So we can get to the national championship where we probably will lose to my prediction of who will win the championship will be Oregon. That's probably the only people that really scare me. But even though I think we actually match up well with Oregon, but that's just me. That's how far I think we can go.
I think Oregon versus Miami would be interesting, being as Mario kind of built that team, and Mario's currently building this team right now.
I will say this though, I believe Tennessee's defense is probably the only defense in the country that could beat Miami's offense.
That's an interesting take. Very interesting take. All right. So we're going to move on from Miami football for now. We will get back to it. Going into Dolphins football. So we are 2-6. The Dolphins have gone from the highest scoring offense in football to the worst scoring offense in football in 1 year. So, yeah. There was actually a point. This is the last week was the first time we actually got past 100 points for the season when we scored 70 points in one game last year. So, yes, Tua injury had an effect, but what else has gone wrong for this team? Jay, let's start off with you.
The defense decided not to play any more defense after Tua came back. I don't know what happened. I mean, this is based off. Based off this last week, we never beat the Bills, and it's like I don't know if we ever will, because like it's just something with that white boy that we just cannot stop. I don't know. Maybe it's a mental thing. I don't know. But anytime we it's like even with the call, it always happens every year. No matter what, we make a stop, it's a flag that kind of just derails it, and it's back to square one. So I feel like Tua's not a problem, and I'm hesitant to say it's McDaniel, but I don't think it is. It's just I don't know, man. Maybe it's the person. I don't know. I have an answer for you. I really don't.
Hey Jack, do you have an answer for me?
About what exactly?
Exactly, like what's going on with this team? Like, is there anything that can be improved here? Like 2-6. I know Tyree came out and said we got to win every other game. I'm like, what you mean you got to win every other game? That's not really possible.
You don't say that.
Also, too, Miami has 3. Like I brought tickets and stuff like that now, everything. But like Miami has 9 games left, and 3 of them are against first place caliber teams right now. There's 6 winnable games there. But the thing is, a lot of first half are also winnable games. So really, what can this team realistically do? Is it time to pack it in and let it go and go for next season, or what do you think?
Look, season was over week 2.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Week 2. That's just the reality of it.
As soon as he got the concussion.
As soon as he got a concussion, and the only thing I can really blame McDaniel for is not having a competent backup quarterback. It is what it is. He thought Skylar Thompson would be okay, and I kind of get that reason because he was okay against the Bills a couple years ago in the playoffs. So you would think a guy who was able to do that would win a game versus the teams that we lost to, but he got hurt. And then you had to bring a guy off the street. Well, not off the street. He was on a practice squad team. Then you bring in Tyler Huntley, and he sucked. So it's just if you want to blame McDaniel for something, you got to blame him for that. But other than that, the season ended week 2. Crazy part about it, I feel like Tua was healthy, we probably would be the reverse of it. We'd probably be 6-2 instead of 2-6 because his defense did play well for the first 6 weeks. You know what I'm saying? So, and then injuries happen. Our best D lineman didn't play last week, and then our best safety didn't play. But regardless, they've been playing against Zach Sealer and Javon Holland been playing against the Bills for years. They ain't really make a difference, has it?
Yeah,
so
I'm not so sure it would have made a difference this time.
So it is what it is. If people want to blame Tua because he got a contract, and that's what comes with it. That's what comes with him, getting that money or whatever like that. He's supposed to be the one to carry us certain things, but I feel like Tua did enough to win on Sunday. And hey, man, it is what it is.
Actually, I kind of have numbers on that one. Yeah, since Tua's return to the lineup, the Dolphins are averaging 3.6 points per drive. The league average is 1.8. The problem is Miami has just had 15 possessions the last 2 games. Miami hasn't had the ball.
Jeez.
6 touchdowns, 4 field goals on those 15 possessions, 2/3 scoring rate. So Miami's they've scored 27 points. They just haven't had the ball enough right now. And then, so when it comes down to it, it's it's the difference between 4-4 and 2-6 and, all going down forward. So, that's what it comes down to. So I guess for me, for y'all and outsiders like this for Josh and Nick too, if your team is sitting at 2-6, would you pack it in? Basically, Josh, you like the Jaguars. Let me ask you that: would you pack it in for the season where they're?
He's technically a Falcons fan.
The Falcons are doing very well.
For clarification, I'm a Jaguars fan by proxy. My parents are the Jaguars fan, and they passed that on to me. So I rep Jaguar Nation. Which, funny enough, I was in Milan, Italy, at a Kendrick Lamar concert, and I saw a person wearing the Jacksonville Jack. So, anyways, I believe he was international in that moment. Nevertheless,
nice little flex. I was in Milan,
right?
They do well. What I'm saying is they do well in Europe. They just came from London and they did well. They do well.
Isn't their owner British?
What's his name?
He's Iranian, isn't he?
Yeah, he's Middle Eastern. He's not British. I don't think he's British. Yeah. Anyways, I'm not a big NFL fan, admittedly. I cheered for the Falcons in my younger years. Then I discovered college football and focused on that ever since. As 2-6, you can still make a playoff run. You could still get to 8-8, or I'm sorry, you could still get to 8-9, 9-8,
9-8,
and still win. Presumably, especially if you're in the NFC South, Falcons, you can win a conference and get a home game in the playoffs. So I don't necessarily pack it in. It depends on the schedule. It depends on the adjustments that you make and if you have the right coaching. So that happens all the time. We see that all the time in the NFL. So I wouldn't necessarily pack it in. For the Dolphins, I think a couple of things are at play. One, you guys have been dealing with major injuries, not just with Tua, but a lot of people, especially on defense over the past couple of years.
Phillips Chubb, yeah.
That's very stifling. Jalen Phillips, that's very stifling to a defense and to a team overall. The other thing, and I really think this is important to consider because I've been following this very closely. The fact that Jalen Ramsey, I don't think has won a game over Josh Allen in his entire career.
That's hilarious.
That can't be true.
The only time is when that playoff game that they played against each other when he called him trash. But he got that game winning interception against the Bills. in Jacksonville. That's it. But since then, he's right. I don't think he's won. He hasn't won an individual game against him.
I do not think Jalen Ramsey. And so to me, I'm like, I don't.
Also, because it also helped that Jalen Ramsey went to the NFC for a little bit. They didn't play that much.
Yeah.
But
they didn't play that much, but I still believe the Bills played the Rams at some point in jail.
Yeah, and the Bills beat them.
And
I
the
ain't
Bills,
gonna lie, I don't think Jalen Ramsey was healthy last year when we played him in the beginning of the year.
The first time, yes.
Yeah, he was.
Second
So
time
he's
he
only.
was.
I mean, yeah. So he's right, but he's only had 2 chances to play him since.
I believe.
But since he called him trash, he's had like 8.
Josh Allen circles
No, not
every
8.
game that he goes
6.
against Jalen Ramsey.
Ramsey.
I'm about to light that team up. And the man does. So I just don't see the future in which you guys are going to be able to beat the Bills unless you guys figure something out. And like, you know, Jalen Ramsey has to probably eat dog crap in order to break the curse.
Hey,
Go ahead, AJack.
That's why we got 1 win.
Hey, to his credit, Jalen Ramsey got to pick off that boy. So, hey.
Yeah.
It's
He
not
played
Ramsey
well.
plays bad, though.
I will say Jalen Ramsey does have
Oh my-
the championship ring.
Who dropped that pass? Oh,
Keon Coleman.
Oh,
Keon Coleman did drop that.
We also will talk about Keon Coleman later on in the podcast. But Nick, what do you think? As a fantasy football pundit,
you know who he caught the pass on though? He caught it on Miami last year. So don't forget it.
hey man, what I said. Hey, what I
I guess
just
the Florida
said.
State fans living in the past now.
Hey, what I just said
Go
10 minutes
ahead,
ago about
Nick.
that secondary.
It's only 1 year. It's only 1 year.
But if
it's
you-
not.
We gonna talk about that.
Hey.
We gonna talk
It's
about
only
that.
1 year.
We gonna talk
Only
about
1
that
year.
rhetoric right there. We gonna talk about
We'll be
that.
right there.
All right,
Only
Nick.
1 year.
Let's-
Y'all
let's-
be going all the
what
way
do you-
back to 2000.
Hey, I ain't gonna. Hey,
First
yo,
off, it's 2001.
hey, yo, y'all correct. Hey, yo,
It's Manny Fresh.
hey, yo, we never had a season like this, so enjoy it.
Like I said,
Enjoy it.
we will talk about that a little
Like-
bit. But Nick,
like
let me
the
get
good
your
old
quick
days.
opinion. Let me get your quick opinion on Dolphins season. Then we're gonna move on to the Heat basketball. Then we're gonna get to all that. So
I think it mainly bolsters on the fact that Tua was hurt. He's obviously the key to what makes y'all's offense go because y'all do a lot of quick stuff, then throw real deep. I think passing very much opens up y'all run game and vice versa. I think last year, this is my perceived thing, and let me get the whole thing out before I get cut off. I think last year you guys overachieved, and I think it had a lot to do because 1, you guys had all of your pieces. 2, we got to see the full extent of what Mike McDaniel's scheme was. And then 3, well, it's not necessarily fair to say this, but I think about it like the Eagles when they first made the coaching switch and they went on that tear that first year. And then the year after they were shit because everybody had time to catch up to the scheme. I think that will very much happen to Miami. I don't necessarily know if that's this year because Tua's not in. So that's just kind of my thought. I'm throwing it out there. And I think you guys missed some of those defensive pieces that you guys let go last year. Although you guys have a ton of injuries on defense this year, which is very well noted. I think you guys missed some of the defensive pieces you guys let go in the offseason.
I agree but disagree. I agree with your defensive observation. I disagree with your offensive observation. I feel like they evolved this year as far as adding the run game to be more of a playoff ready team this year. So I just kind of disagree with you on the.
Why do you say that when didn't you guys have more rushing yards last year than this year?
no,
No, it was
Miami
off
rushed for a
finesse.
better average.
Okay.
They rushed for a better average.
Okay.
Even last year, like we had a key injury on the offensive line, so it kind of like fucked up. Like, well, for the last year, like in a way, you're still right. I'm not even trying to like downplay that, but Connor Williams, our center, getting hurt, messed up our running game. Like absolutely, like we couldn't run the ball no more. Like that's just the reality and stuff like that. So Aaron Brewer, I never heard of the guy before this year. Him being a Pro Bowl caliber center again has really boosted our run game again. So there's that. Like I do agree with you about the defensive pieces though. And another thing, like I don't think like because like crazy, I do think McDaniel has added another element to it with the run game, and then just checking it down. Just checking it down when people bail in zone coverage and in man coverage, like just check it down. Like against the Bills the Sunday, we just checked it down and we just moved the ball down the field so easily. That was thing that was something Tua just didn't do last year. I don't know because all the outside noise about him not being able to do this, not being able to do that. Dude, just check it down. Just check it down. Like, you know. So I mean, yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess we're gonna have to wait and see what happens with Miami. I don't want to spend too much time on the bereaved at the moment. Honestly,
I definitely don't think y'all. I don't think y'all phone it in or go home.
Yeah, stop humping this bear.
All right, we are gonna move on
That's
real
excellent.
quick. All right, so
Perfect timing.
it
was
was.
Oh my god.
We're
How
gonna
did
move on
everybody
real
get
quick.
quiet in that?
We're gonna move on real quick to Heat basketball. So we're gonna have
Cut
quick
his nuts
reactions to the
off.
start. Oh my gosh. All right, so we're gonna move on real quick to Heat basketball, y'all. So quick
All right.
reactions to the start. It's been an uneven start at best. It's all right. We're gonna keep going. Miami has been 3-3. Three losses are to playoff quality teams, and 3 wins are against non-playoff quality teams. So Bam has struggled. Had a third game recently though. And the season is a marathon, not a sprint. But let me get a couple things to react to. AJack, what is your opinion on the lack of use for Khalil Ware and the Heat overall? What have you seen?
It's Spo. Spo's been bad to start the year, in my opinion. He's always been rough with rookie centers or whatever like that. He doesn't play famously he didn't play Bam to start his career. So really expect nothing more for Khalil. I don't think Thomas Bryant should be playing.
I don't either.
So it's just like,
you know, I like what I thought he could bring to him, but the way he's been playing, I'm just kind of like, what the hell?
Well, I get it. You don't want to you don't want to throw a 19, 20-year-old rookie big man into the fire like that. You know what I'm saying? Because the reality is a big man has to do way a lot more than a guard. That's why Pelle Larson is playing. So I get it. Like, you gotta do the pick and roll coverages. You gotta rebound. You gotta you gotta set picks and screens and stuff like that. So I get it. But Thomas Bryant isn't the guy that you play over him, in my opinion. So there's that. Another thing. Because I've been so down on Tyler Hero or whatever like that. I have no complaints about him this year. I feel like he's been good. I feel like he's doing the stuff that I've asked him to do. He's getting downhill. He's getting to the rim. He's still a garbage playmaker, but I'm done expecting more of him from that. So it's just like, other than that, I feel like I have no complaints about him. Honestly, he's done everything that I've asked him to do out of a shooting guard. So,
what do you like? Do you like the pairing between him and Rozier right now?
No, I feel like one of them should go to the bench. I feel like it should be Tyler because I do feel like Terry is the better option as the point guard for this team. I feel like
better playmaker.
Yeah, better playmaker. I feel like he gets downhill. I don't feel like he finishes better than Tyler, but I feel like he still gets downhill better than Tyler, if you understand what I'm saying. So, and Tyler's used to the 6-man role. So is Terry in a way too, but I just prefer Terry in my opinion. So, I feel like one of them should go to the bench, and I feel like either start a bigger guard next to him, so we can have
Duncan Robinson or Alec Burks.
Duncan Robinson works too. Wouldn't even mind. I know Pelle's a rookie, but wouldn't mind Pelle either, man. Because he guards, he hustles. I know Duncan's kind of have a slow start to the year. He's getting older, so maybe this is decline. So I mean, either way, I don't like the Terry Hero pairing. You need to stop that. You need to I think we've seen enough of it, even though we haven't seen a lot of it. We've seen enough of it. So yeah.
Right. Jay, you have any opinions on that?
I haven't been able to watch them. Watch the Heat, because they don't come on national TV. Television. So I was watching highlights. I am kind of disappointed with 3-3 record. I feel like they have a better assortment of pieces. They should have utilized it better with the kind of soft schedule that they have. But they're playing right now, right?
Yeah, they're playing Phoenix at the moment.
Game just started.
Okay, so
who's y'all point guard?
Terry Rozier.
Rozier's starting point guard.
Yeah, but I feel like they should be doing better than what they are. So, but we'll see if they can get better around the year.
What's your reactions to Bam struggles, AJack?
It's the offense. And he's part of the reason why I'm saying this is on Spo, honestly, because it's you're trying to make Bam a spot up shooter, and that only helps Tyler and Terry get going, and I don't feel like that helps them get going, honestly. You're trying to space out the floor so they have more space to get to the rim and stuff like that, but you're kind of putting your second best player on the back burner in terms of getting him going offense. And then I think we lost one game. He was I gotta get Bam more touches. Then we play the Wizards, and then you manufacture him touches. You get people moving more offense. And now because I'm on Heat Twitter or whatever like that, and people were saying isn't this what y'all want? Y'all want to make him power forward? It was never that. It was just like we wanted Bam to take the threes that were there. Take the top of 3 keys. Like take the catch and shoot ones. Just take the open threes, and that's fine. Don't primarily make him a catch and shoot player. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not helping. I don't feel like that's helping the offense with it like that. So that's why I kind of feel like it's been on Spoelstra the year as well. So,
I don't know. Any opinions, Nick and Josh, before we move on? On the Heat?
Not really. I don't have any too many opinions on y'all.
Only
What do y'all? Well, I guess I have more questions. How do y'all feel about playing Kevin Love this much? And what do y'all see the future for Jimmy Butler being?
Kevin Love hasn't played this year.
Kevin Love hasn't played a game.
He's
had
I thought he was
issues.
fully in the rotation right now.
He wasn't.
No,
that's why Thomas Bryant's
playing. Once Kevin Love comes back, like he'll be playing a little bit more. But yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, I'm mainly paying attention to the Magic because we're putting up some points right now. I'm shocked.
But what y'all gonna do without Paulo?
Oh yeah, that was fun. Yo, actually, I want to ask.
Lord have mercy.
I want to ask because it's like what I've been seeing from like a lot of these stat nerds. They were basically saying that Paolo isn't that good and Franz is y'all best player. What's y'all opinion on that?
I think he's overrated, but I'm probably going.
Franz is not he got a really nice contract.
He didn't deserve that, in my opinion. You're paying for what you think will be perceived his ceiling will be.
What I'm saying is everybody gets a nice you do a couple good years, everybody gets a nice contract. Doesn't necessarily mean you deserve it. Wendell Carter got a pretty nice contract. Brother just got injured, I think, as well. From my perspective, that's cap. Paolo is a lot better than. I mean, he just put 30. He put 33 up on Miami in the opening game, and
Paolo's great.
He put a 50. He put a 50 the other night. I'm not seeing it. I think Franz has great nights. I think he has great nights. I don't think they're consistently great.
Yeah.
But, hey, to me, when Franz was a no-show in that playoff series and Paolo was the one carrying y'all, that confirmed it for me. But all offseason, Paolo not that good. Franz is better. Paolo not that. I'm like, bro,
he's not. That's cap.
I don't know what form that's on.
Like, so it's like to me, like the playoffs are like the biggest indicator of what a player is, in my opinion. So when the playoffs come around and Franz shrinks and Paolo gets better, that's a huge indicator to me. Like, yeah, he's him. He's that player. But all these stat nerds was like, nah, he's really not that good, honestly. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I just want to act.
I love that we disapprove stat nerds. You know, that's what we do here on this podcast. You get down to it. We go with our heart, right? Right, Josh?
Bro, it's not even that. It's like,
Josh, a little too much.
Oh no, Nick, don't hop out now.
It's like
that part, but wait.
It's like,
go ahead, AJack. AJack.
I don't care what that nerd says.
I just hate ignoring what I see, whatever like that. And because he shoots mid-range jumpers, you don't like his game. I hate that shit. I really do.
I think that's an important part of the game. You have to be able to have that shot. The playoffs, mid-range jumper is deadly. Playoff Jimmy. That's what it. But as far as Jimmy Butler's future, for me, I do still think it is in Miami. But of course, it depends on what happens this year. And so he has come out and said he does not care about what comes up. He's said again that he wants to retire in Miami. And so I think that does happen. I don't think he gets traded, if that's what you're asking. I don't think they trade him, but we'll have to see.
Do you think he gets the contract he wants, though? I don't think he does.
I think that depends on what happens this year. I think they negotiate. I don't
see how you justify.
I think if he's looking for a max.
37,
I don't think
34. What's he? 35.
35. He's 35. I don't think he gets a max.
He can't justify a max right now.
Yeah,
he can't.
I don't think he gets a max.
His game's not. I don't want to say good enough because that's not true. It's not consistent, and I think that has to do with his injuries.
And you got to think about the present. You got to think about the future. And you got
exactly
too. If he's able to turn around here and he plays 75 to 80 games in Miami, is a 3rd seed instead of an 8th seed, and it's because he was available. He's going to have that leverage. That has that. Well, you have to see what happens to him.
It will have what happens.
Mm-hmm. So that's more of a wait and see thing. I think also too when you look at what's going on with some of these teams, like where you have Cleveland right now, who is undefeated, where you have the Celtics who are 7-1 quietly somehow because of what's going on with everything else. but then also you have Milwaukee, who was 1-7 at the moment, and can't seem to buy a win. Like you have to think things can change in an instant.
You
This
can't
this
buy-
They're
season,
looking like they never should have got rid of Busenhauser or whatever his name is.
I don't think they should have got rid of the other coach because they like
Oh,
that's
that
what seems like the
didn't
issue
make
is.
sense
Like
to me
Doc Rivers
either.
taking over, like they've been like almost 20
Doc
games under
Rivers is
500.
washed. He's
Doc
washed.
Rivers is
I've been saying this
washed.
for a long time. He is washed. He is not a good coach.
Nobody has ever been given so much and done so little.
So
That's
little.
very true.
He won
That
one
is so-
championship.
So little, man.
That's a good take.
So
That's a good
little.
take.
One championship. I've said
Nobody
that.
has ever done so
Hey, look, let's say this for the record. Nobody has milked that one championship more than the 2008 Boston Celtics.
Boston Celtics. I know that's right.
Everywhere you look, that championship is milked for more than it's really worth.
We said
To
it
be
in
honest, because they should have won more.
everybody
We covered this
should have.
before.
for life. Everybody eats for life. What's his name? James Posey eats for life. Who else eats for life? Kendrick Perkins eats for life.
That's another thing too. James Posey has another championship with the Heat. Like it's just like there are things that he can call, but you know what? He
No.
draws from that. Like
No,
Kendrick
that
Perkins has
08
built a
that
whole
08
media career on being on that team.
That part.
Yeah.
And so,
Yep.
but all right. Moving on from that, hopefully we'll see what happens with the Heat. Hopefully they're able to improve. All right, so we're gonna get to our national topics that we're gonna have for this one. This was interesting because me and Josh actually talked about this first one, and I didn't want to put this on here. Nick, you are talking about this too. So we're gonna talk about the young QBs in the NFL.
Yeah.
And lack of development that they've gotten in the NFL. So mainly speaking on the quick hooks for some of these QBs who are just getting into the NFL. And whether if you feel this is correct or incorrect. Now there are going to be different situations. Like me and Nick have talked about Anthony Richardson. So I think that's a different situation when it comes to. But I want to get y'all feelings on the topic as young NFL fans, somewhat, and college fans, because you guys have been fans of these players in college and seeing how different. Now, let's get to it. Josh, let me start off with you since you don't want to put this topic in my head. So, what do you think about the quick hooks that these QBs are getting?
I think it's complicated because I think Tom Brady talked about the issue in a particular way that was pretty compelling.
Mm-hmm.
He had mentioned that these quarterbacks, they come out of high school and go to college. They get hot in college, and they're in college for 1 to 2 years, starting. Then they're able to leave and get drafted, and then they go and they translate that into an NFL contract or an NFL playbook. Let me say specifically. And are, from my perspective, unable to keep up with the high level playmaking that is needed for the quarterback position, the high level IQ that is needed. And then I feel like it spirals out relatively quickly, and a lot of them end up on the bench. I don't know who's to blame. From my perspective, I see a team like Baltimore that got rid of Joe Flacco. Was it Joe Flacco? They got rid of him.
It was Joe Flacco.
And then they put in Lamar, and they said, we're going all in on Lamar and into his work and his development. And I think that proved to be very beneficial for them to do and to work on. And now he's clearly an NFL vet, 2-time MVP, couple playoff runs. We're still looking for more. But
Only team that's won more since he's happened is Kansas
Didn't
City.
him and Joe Flacco have 1 year of overlap?
Yeah.
Yeah. Joe Flacco was it? No, Joe Flacco, I think it was either benched or he got hurt, and then they gave it to Lamar, and then that was it.
Okay.
But it was like when they're like, we're going with Lamar, guess what? We're not
Going back.
It's not Lamar running Joe Flacco's system. It's Lamar running the Lamar. And again, credit to Lamar. His style of play was so different that they had to be all in and they had to be committed to it. Now, when I think about a Bryce Young, think about Anthony Richardson, when I think about Aaron Darnold in some cases, in his earlier career, we have all these gunslinging.
Sam Darnold?
Yeah.
Sam Darnold. Sorry.
He said Aaron Donald.
My bad. Sam Darnold.
Oh, what?
Sorry, guys, we back. These high-pick gunslinging quarterbacks that have to almost adjust to another playbook, and they're not able to keep up with the demands of the game. And I think that ends up in them spiraling out and being unable to be successful at an early point in their career. perhaps that means later on in their career that they'll be able to be successful. I think there are exceptions to this rule. I think Jalen Hurts has had a pretty successful early career relatively to many of these other quarterbacks. And there might be a couple others sprinkled in there that have actually made a name for themselves. But I think overall we're seeing this trend where
Jalen Hurts was on the bench for the first 2 years of his career. Am I correct?
It was just the first year, right? And then they went to him and they
pretty much turned it over to him.
They turned it over to him, and he's done great. Another trend to look at is that one thing that they bring in for these guys, and I believe they tried this with Bryce Young, and with the Panthers, is they try to get a veteran receiver, and for the Panthers it was Adam Thielen. They tried it, and so with Jalen Hurts, it was AJ Brown that they got, and then they drafted Devontae Smith. So those things are helpful for getting a young quarterback to have like an experienced wide receiver that they can just throw it up to. You know, like AJ Brown's down there somewhere, so I'm just going to sling it. Like that sort of thing is helpful for them, but it doesn't always translate as effectively. And I think a lot of these young quarterbacks have trouble adjusting to the speed and the style coming from 1 to 2 years in college and then a high school system that they were able to do with their high scores.
All right. Okay. So when that comes down to it, so do you think that these coaches are not adjusting enough or giving these quarterbacks enough resources for them to succeed?
I don't, and that's why I have trouble identifying where the issue lies. Because part of me is like, I would think in college, your coach is like, look, like the demands of, I'm not saying don't go, but the demands of an NFL require you to be able to be a lot sharper and a lot blah, 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 blah. So it probably starts at the college level where it's like, if you want to go, I'm sure you'll get your one contract, right? Because you're going to be drafted high. If you want longevity, if you want to stay for a while, if you want to be successful, this is going to take more time, more studying. It's going to take a couple more years for us to develop you so that by the time you get to the college, or by the time you get to the NFL or the pros, you know what it's like to run a system, a program, and can easily make connections and adjustments based on the things that they're telling you and at the pro level.
Okay. Well, then like when you can put that out there, but then the kind of argument is someone like Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett stayed 5 years in college, and yet he still got the early hook with that. So what do you think about that? I mean, it's a troubling trend, is what I'm saying.
Some niggas suck. Was Kenny Pickett ended up being a first round pick?
And Kenny Pickett was the only quarterback taken the first round in his draft.
Really? He was a first rounder?
Yes. He was first rounder to the Steelers.
That sounds like a terrible year for quarterbacks.
It definitely was.
And it sounds like Pittsburgh was looking to reinvest on Pittsburgh, right? So
they wanted someone who they thought would be just like Ben Roethlisberger, but they were sorely mistaken.
He even wears 2 gloves. Like, we get it, but it is what it is, and you know some decisions aren't the best decisions. But again, with Pickett, they ended up getting Pickens, who was a guy that he could throw it to and like try to help him develop, and at the very least, he has a speedy receiver to throw it to. It just didn't pan out and work out that way.
AJack, what's your opinion on this?
Basically what Josh is saying. But another thing too, I feel like there be certain situations where it's so obvious that they're trying to put the blame on the QB. Because Bryce Young. Them pulling him were so ridiculous to me. It was so ridiculous to me because it's like, bro, you trade your number one receiver to get him. Right, you know what I'm saying? So you have
DJ Moore is a 1,500-yard receiver.
Yes. So like you trade your number one receiver to get him instead of your edge rusher.
Yeah.
And you end up trading him anyway the next year. So it's like you basically traded DJ Moore. I actually
forgot about that part.
Yeah. So you trade DJ Moore for nothing. Like,
yeah.
He's basically trade DJ Moore for nothing, and then you trade Brian Burns for I think they got a third for him. So just and then when he doesn't produce with these garbage weapons that you're getting him, you pull him. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't feel like my thing is, I don't think these quarterbacks should be playing off the back anyway. Like, I don't think Anthony Richardson should have been playing his first year. I don't think Bryce Young should have been playing his first year. One, because it's like they're probably not pro ready. And the other thing is too, like, you don't want them to play like it's like you don't want them to have these like you don't want them to develop these bad habits that they're gonna be playing with for like the rest of their career. Yeah. But, like, a good example is Justin Fields. Like, I feel like he had a garbage coaching staff his whole tenure in Chicago.
Oh yes.
And then he has these bad habits that he just can't seem to kick.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, because to me, him when Justin Fields came out, I didn't really view him as a runner like that. I remember him at Ohio State passing the ball.
Slinging. He was a slinger.
Yeah, for sure. So it's just like
he saw that thing. But he ran a lot.
I don't know not as much as what the Bears had.
They weren't designed runs.
No, I feel you, but like now he came into the NFL and now people be calling him a running back. I'm just like, bro, I remember him as a passer. Like,
yeah. That's a good point.
Remember him absolutely destroying Clemson. And basically, that was the last game he had. Dabo had with his. And
he's like he's just glorified running back in a way. I'm just like, that's surprising to me. So it's just like, I blame coaching. I don't blame Justin Fields for that, because it's like
You go ahead.
I blame coaching. So it's like for them to try to basically put, especially Chicago, to try to like put all the blame on Justin Fields and be like, yeah, we're going to draft this other young QB to fix our problems. When the reality is,
all right,
you're still like coach. Y'all still garbage at coaching, so it won't matter.
Very important. Very important.
Jay, do you have any opinion?
That's how I feel about it. Like, I feel like
I mean, I will say that Anthony Richardson should not have left Florida, to be honest with you.
He would have left Florida anyway. He would have either transferred or...
I don't know what draft person was like, this guy's a first-round pick. Like, it's just athleticism and just...
Hyper.
Yeah.
Hyper came out and was like, he's going to be a top 5 pick. And then he ran a 4.3 at the combine. I mean, it just took off from there.
All his workouts or whatever, he didn't screen me. All his workouts didn't screen to me first round pick, a good quarterback. Like, you throwing
none of his games did. I hated the pick.
Like, why? Even like him throwing the ball into the rafters doesn't mean that's a great quarterback.
Yeah. Oh, he can drop a dime.
Yeah, like, he's accurate to me, but you know.
Yeah.
But you know,
I mean, he's throwing 44% right now. And I watched the Colts on Sunday. And I got to say, Joe Flacco's not the answer either, but I can understand why you have to play him instead of Anthony Richardson. But it also just shows like how badly behind I feel like he is, because Joe Flacco has absolutely no chemistry with any of them. Like one of the interceptions he threw, I'm just like, why would you throw that? I'm just like, he had Jonathan Taylor for a first down on their last drive, the 3rd down and 1, and just absolutely decided that he was going to go 15 yards down the field in a double coverage. Like,
that's what Joe Flacco does. He throws deep. That's always been his bread and butter. He rather throw deep than short.
I understand that, but when you bench a young starting quarterback, you do it usually because of decisions that they make. Yeah. So you don't go to an older quarterback who makes worse decisions than your other first quarterback. For me, it just didn't make any sense. That was a winnable game for the Colts.
I just think they're trying to dip the well back and to get some magic.
Yeah,
it's just like the fact that the Colts aren't truly going all in on Anthony Richardson. Like, that's what kind of like bothered me.
That's a good point.
He needs reps. You're not giving him reps. You know what I'm saying? He needs to play. He needs to learn how to play the quarter. Like, he needs to learn how to play the quarterback position. You're not helping him out that at all.
Well, the counter to that is it not beneficial to sit behind and watch somebody else do that?
I think that time has passed.
Not Joe Flacco.
Yeah, and Joe Flacco.
I'll give you not Joe Flacco, but what I will give you this is that Joe Flacco is a professional, and I don't think Anthony Richardson is.
Facts. That's why I feel like he shouldn't have been playing last year.
I don't ever think we should have drafted him. As the Colts fan on this, podcast,
that's fair as hell. But if you draft someone with the number whatever pick, bro, play that. Invest in him.
Well, I think that's the issue that I'm trying to bring up, or that because where does the responsibility lie? One, if you look at Richardson's last year at UF, he had some decent play, highlight of his career was that jump fake, that pump fake he did against Utah.
Against Utah.
And then everybody was like, "Oh, we're gonna go to the champion, whatever." But then, if you don't remember, his last game was against, you guessed it, Florida State, where he there were like 15 to 20 like straight incomplete passes, and
they had a great first half, and the second half just like, what in the hell are you doing?
Abysmal. And so those are things. If you're a college coach, you're like, sure, you can go pro, get paid, whatever. You're going to be a one contract quarterback and be out of the league and back here talking about the good old days, right? Or if you are a GM, you're like, okay, if we're drafting this guy, we're going to have to do some intense development, and or like he's going to have to sit behind somebody, and then when we're ready, we're throwing everything at him and we're giving him the keys because we believe that he's ready. But I don't know where the responsibility is.
Well, what it sounds like to me is like what you like. If you're going to go down this road, there needs to be more commitment from these teams.
Yeah, that's probably like my main point. Is like, if you're going to draft these guys in top 10, top 15, top 20, you have to fully commit to them. Josh's point about Lamar Jackson was spot on. It's like because the reality is, what did you really see from Lamar as a passer for you to be like, yeah, I'm gonna go all in on him? Not that much.
But
that
not
nigga
coming out of college.
But that nigga won you games though. Like when Joe Flacco couldn't. He won you games when Joe Flacco couldn't. So it's like, and you spent a first round pick on him. So it's just like, that's what good franchises do, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it just shows me that these other franchises aren't
There
good.
are more pieces around Lamar Jackson, though, and there always has been. I think it boils down to the organization.
Now Lamar Jackson went to a better situation. I will say that.
Bro,
but go ahead.
Name one skilled player off Lamar Jackson's first MVP season.
His first MVP season?
Name one skilled player, Nick.
Who's the running back?
Mark Ingram.
Hollywood Brown.
Okay,
they have Mark Ingram.
Cool.
Hollywood
Name
Brown.
one. Name another one.
He was on that team. Phil's right too. Hollywood Brown was on that team. The Ravens have never had receivers.
But that's it.
The Ravens have.
They've never had receivers. That's not my argument. What my argument is, they've always had an offensive line that could control the ball or control the line of scrimmage. They always have, and they still do. And they've always been able to run the ball.
But there's more. But I think what Austin is saying, though, they changed their offense to fit him. He said what he's also saying is that I don't think the Colts have done that for Anthony Richardson, and they haven't. So
I can't say that because I don't think that's true.
Yeah, I mean they do design QB runs or whatever like that.
Exactly, which are fucking terrible.
I feel like they're stupid.
They're the simplest QB design runs ever.
It's like you don't run him again.
Warner knows what's coming.
It's like you don't run him again when he gets hurt. Like that was crazy. That was so crazy. Like they ran him again after he got hurt.
I don't think that's true because I think the Colts have dumbed down their offense quite a bit to fit Anthony Richardson. I perfectly honest with you, I don't like Anthony Richardson as a quarterback. I never have. Didn't like him at UF. I didn't like him his first year as the Colts. I have not liked Anthony Richardson ever since he's been here. Does he have all of the physical attributes to be fantastic and phenomenal? Yes. Do I think that's what people bought into? Yes. Am I surprised our GM bought into that bullshit? Yes. I'm utterly shocked when we drafted. I said, "There's no fucking way we drafted him." And we drafted him. I would have waited for next year to get a quarterback. I ultimately think it's the plan that is put in place for the young quarterbacks when they are drafted. So, and when I say that, I think like you think about the Kansas City Chiefs. They had a plan for Patrick Mahomes when Patrick Mahomes got drafted.
Yeah.
The Bears, I'm not saying it's a great success, but you clearly see that they have a plan for Caleb Williams right now. I'm not saying whether he's great or not. They have a plan for him.
Going back to the Chiefs, was Alex Smith starting?
Yeah.
He was there the 1 year. Yeah.
The 1 year. Then they're like, all right, we're turning the keys to the kingdom over to
they basically what happened. They had clinched the playoff spot, so they let Mahomes start the season finale.
Okay.
And I think they lost the first playoff game. They were the number 2 seed, lost the first playoff game to the Steelers, and they were like, okay, we're giving it to Mahomes.
Okay.
They got to the AFC divisional round.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting. But yeah, I mean, I think there is an effective way to go ahead, Nick. But there's an effective way to pass.
Yeah, I think it boils down to the organizations. And I think it really boils down to there's a plan. There was a plan for those. There was a plan for Lamar Jackson. I don't want to say eventually, but they had a plan. I think that some organizations, when we talk about this, the quarterback is obviously the hardest position on the field, so therefore you have to be the best. I think you have a particular ceiling. A lot of people reach that ceiling within college, and the transition to the NFL is harder. So I feel like, especially with quarterbacks, people are looking for diamonds in the rough. You're praying that you drafted one and you don't get it. And the thing is, how long do you wait for that to develop? In Bryce Young's case, how long am I supposed to sit here and wait for you, Bryce Young? How long am I supposed to sit here and wait for you to develop? Because I will say this: a really good quarterback can make a really shitty receiver really good. A really good receiver cannot make a shitty quarterback good. The receiver's just good. And prime example
looking
for
at
that
DeAndre
is
Hopkins' career, I think we can kind of, okay. All right, go ahead.
DeAndre Hopkins, great receiver, great numbers. Everybody still thinks all the quarterbacks he played with were shit.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
Right. So it's vice versa. So it's like if Bryce Young, granted, Bryce Young is probably a poor example because he didn't get it enough, but I really never thought Bryce Young was that great in college. He had a great team around him and he had a bunch of talent around him. How long am I supposed to wait for you to develop? You aren't showing us attributes of this, and granted, the team is shit. I get it. But that team clearly doesn't have a plan. They didn't have a plan when you drafted them. And if the plan they did have, they fired their coach the next year after that. So Bryce Young got put in this shitty situation, yes.
That's a good point.
And the Bears didn't have a plan for Justin Fields when they drafted him. That was clear.
All right. I feel what you're saying, but I feel like if you genuinely try hard to make this QB succeed, that's why I feel like you can give up on him. I don't feel like Carolina has done that.
Oh, not at all.
But Carolina has to have a plan. They have no plan.
That's I feel like they're 100% trying to put the failure of their franchise on Bryce Young being not that good. I 100% believe that.
The failure of that program is that owner and whoever he's hired as the general manager.
No, the failure of the program is the fact of the matter. They've traded the three best players in 3 straight years. You traded away Christian McCaffrey. You traded away DJ Moore. You traded away Brian Burns.
That was a bet.
What were the picks that they've gotten?
FSU player.
For Christian McCaffrey and DJ Moore?
They got a second-round pick for Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah. For who's probably been the best
Christian
back in the last 5 years.
No, I understood that.
I understood
why you did it.
Their plan has not executed. They have not hit. They've not hit.
I just think it's ludicrous to blame the stimulation of your program on a quarterback who wasn't here when you made your worst decisions. That just doesn't make sense.
That's true. But I think that boils down to
you don't want to wait to you don't want to wait too long, to see
that's why I say I think it boils down to your plan. Because the coach is the one that picked you because they believe you to a certain extent and they had a plan for you. But when you don't have a plan as an organization and you're wishy-washy, because they fired Frank Reich in 2 years.
No, and they fired Frank Reich in 1 year. They
gave
him 1 year.
Which was crazy to me.
All right.
So it really just boils down to the plan that you have set in place. And the Carolina just doesn't have one and hasn't stuck with it.
All right. Well, looks like it's a combination of things that we talked about. Good discussion, gentlemen. All right, we will move on to the state of Florida college football right now. So this is where we get to talk about what's going on with FSU, UF, and UM. So Brian Cristobal made a strong statement after beating FSU and UF this year and other Florida schools that the trajectory of UM is much better than others. So we're going to get down to it, talking about whether or not he's right and what has happened to FSU this year, because I have a few numbers to go by right now. Ashton Jeanty himself has scored more than FSU. Miami has scored more. Wait now. I got one more. Miami has scored more points in the fourth quarter alone than FSU has scored all season.
You're a national title contender.
That's true. But y'all won 13 games last year. So you got to have to explain to me.
You're bringing up old stuff.
I'm not bringing up old stuff. I'm bringing up the reaction. Because I talked to y'all about this in the beginning of the season. Whether y'all thought what happened last year was going to move over to this year. And me and Nick talked on our way back from the Florida State Miami game, and we brought up some interesting points. And he does think that this is a one-year thing. So this is my thing. Going 1-8 You gotta have to convince me how that's a 1-year fix. That's what we're gonna talk about. All right, because 1-8 in the Power Four conference, where you're playing G5 teams, you're playing teams that are physically inferior to you that you've already lost to.
Absolutely.
And so, I mean, I know y'all got to play Notre Dame this week, and that's that or whatever. But
I hope to God
there are
y'all
teams
win.
that Florida State has not scored above 21 points on this continent this year because y'all 21 points that you scored was in Ireland.
Is in Ireland.
Y'all got to explain to me what is going on
all my teams do well in Europe. That's all I'm saying. We still
you
lost.
didn't do well in Europe. You lost that game, so I need to understand.
We did better
as we ever have this year. All right.
Hey,
you know what more victories are from minor league coaches?
I just want to point something out that Josh tried to excuse us scoring more points in one quarter than they have all year, and us being a national championship.
You got a title contender. That's what I'm expecting. What do you think?
You're expecting? All right, hold on, wait. You're expecting your biggest rival to have scored more points in one quarter than you'll have all season through 9 games? You really expecting that?
I've already conceded that Miami is a good team because good teams overcome deficits and win. So if you guys are going to be in the good team category,
we have to score more points.
You expect them to score more points in us in one quarter in the entire season?
Like, come on, bro.
Nigga, stop. Y'all niggas better stop yelling.
All right, look.
Fucking embarrassing.
All right.
Okay.
So I'm going to start. When it comes to the state of Florida football right now, all right, I will start off with Nick. Like, what do you think? Like, one, we talked about what you think has gone wrong. What has got to be fixed for this to not happen again next year?
For it not to happen again next year?
Because you're saying it's not going to happen. So I got to see what – you got to give me a 4-point plan here because I'm just like, yo. I'm just – like, because –
we'll win at least
I got
6 games
one thing. I got Florida State fans telling me that, the shoe can change. Do this. Miami hasn't had less than 5 wins in over 50 years. As mediocre as we have been for the last 25 years. This is the worst Power 5 Florida team I have seen ever in my life.
Nah, for sure. I'm so serious too. This is the worst Power 5.
You know what? The best Power 5 Florida team you've ever seen in your career, that was also Florida State. You're welcome.
No, it wasn't. Oh, it's the 01 Miami Hurricanes. So we can stop that right now. We established that on this podcast.
Discuss this.
Biased,
and we're not going to talk about the past. We're talking about the future college football. So tell me how you fix it.
Okay,
and I will stop you.
Nick, do you want to go, or I can go off?
I think one, we fix it with a few coaching changes. I don't necessarily think they're drastic coaching changes. I'm a believer that we have a bad group of kids. We have a group of kids that have absolutely no heart,
or skill,
or skill.
Yeah.
I won't say that. I don't know. We just got a bad group. We got some bad juju on us this year, and I'm just chopping it up to that. We got to make some coaching changes. We need to do better in the recruiting. Our recruiting's been piss poor. The reason why I don't think we're going to have another bad year is because I think we live and die by the transfer portal. I think somehow we'll win 6 games next year.
All right,
we're going to a bowl next year.
All right. So today is November 6th, 2024. All right. Nick said y'all winning 6 games next year. We still gonna be doing this, so we're gonna put that on there. All right.
Yeah. So we'll win. We'll win 6 games next year. We're going to.
I mean, Norvell.
Go ahead, Josh.
What was it? The year before that we went 10-3.
Yeah. Your second year.
Honestly, that season I was like, it's a toss-up. I could see us winning 8 games. I could see us winning another 5. Like, to me, but we were able to overperform. And then the year after that, of course, the infamous 12-1 season. 13-1. Forgive me. From my perspective, Norvell has done some turnaround jobs that I think have benefited Florida State in a great way. He has used the transfer portal. What I wish I was doing my job at Florida State so I could see internally what's going on. What I suspect is a major cultural issue, and I think I think a lot of it stemmed from the snub, and I don't know how it was. I don't know how that got handled. Again, I wish I was there so that I could have supported my boys. Anyways, the sense that I get is that because of that snub, there is one, you lose money, you lose recruiting, you lose momentum, you lose a number of things, which make or break seasons. And then on top of that, I think there is, as Nick is alluding to, like an attitude shift where there probably is some animosity, probably is some bad juju, probably is a cultural problem within the players on the team that lead to the results that you're getting. That in combination, and I think this is actually bigger than we really need to think about, is having a good quarterback that is passionate and can lead. That's what Jordan Travis was.
We have no leadership on our team.
That's what willed us to victory. That's what Jameis was. If you remember, that's what willed us to victory in many ways. And that, I think, in a lot of ways, is emblematic of Florida State football. And when you don't have that, especially in a culture like ours, you're going to suffer, and you're gonna suffer pretty bad. I think this can be turned around, but I think we have to go back to the formula that has been effective not only for Florida State in recent history, but Florida State historically. And we can be in good shape, but it does depend on recruiting. I do like Luke Kromenhoek because to me he is the guy that chose Florida State for Florida State and is committed to us and is willing to sacrifice. I say
he cannot throw.
He can't, but that's where
again, his accuracy is.
That's what we're talking about. When he isn't going to the league next year. Brother needs to stay another 3 or 4 years, develop, and then he's going to be what he needs to be for us. But from my perspective, that's the formula that has helped Florida State in the past, and I think we need to go back to it so that we can continue Florida State football to be excellent in the future.
Okay, I can say that, but like don't you think there's an issue with relying on the transfer portal too much when it comes to to build a foundation?
I think it's a huge problem. I think it's a huge problem, but I think that's also the way of college football is. It's just like basketball. You live and die by the three. Eventually, people got really good at shooting three-pointers.
Well, I mean, this is my thing. Is like I know like Miami has used the transfer portal as well and everything. Like Cam Ward is a transfer quarterback, but the basis of this team and really why I think that it's been great is the recruits that have stayed. The offensive line are mostly Manny and Mario recruits. Defensive line are mostly Manny and Mario recruits. Now Tyler Barron is a transfer, so is Simeon Barrow. But I think that when it comes to that culture, because we talked about this last year, and we also talked about it before.
Yes,
y'all thought that the culture that was established by Norvell was going to be good enough for y'all to get past what happened. And then the embarrassment in the Orange Bowl and also this lawsuit that's been happening that's hanging over the program.
Yes,
there's that. But I think we lost a lot more pieces last year than I originally anticipated. In the sense that we lost a lot of players that got playing time last year, but they left to the transfer portal to go play somewhere else because they thought that
Treshaun Ward, that was a tough one. We had a pretty deep running back room, and losing Treshaun Ward, who ran all over us when we played Boston College, that was a big wake up call.
Yeah, so I think we lost leadership that left in the transfer portal, and I think I'm even going to break it down to if you guys really want. I think it comes down to generational. I think these kids are just soft. If I'm being honest with you, everybody wants instant gratification now, and a lot of people aren't willing to wait for are willing to put in a lot of work to get what they want. So, and I think about this now because we all know that I think I brought this up. Thad is somebody that that me and Phil have worked with. His kids play football or whatever, right? He told me his son's transferred twice. He's playing on a D2 level. And he doesn't want to wait. He wants to play now. And he said he's got another son that is committed to Akron. And he said Gavin chose Akron because they promised him that he would play his freshman year. Yeah. And he said if Gavin's not going to play, Gavin will transfer out to go somewhere else.
So that's a very good observation. And that's one question I've been having about this transfer portal era is when are we going to get back to the point of like, I'm the backup, the third string cornerback for Florida State, and I'm proud. Like,
yeah, I don't think you get that.
You say that again?
I don't think I think that is going to be a rarity than it will be.
I think it will be. I think it is going to be a rarity. But to
And
me, the teams that are able to get that sort of commitment out of their players are the teams that are going to succeed, because that implies that there's a good culture there. And I was wrong in my former assessment, thinking that that Florida State was leveraging the transfer portal effectively. My assessment now is probably that it was the perfect storm. Florida State probably had the perfect storm of pieces.
Yeah, we did. We had the perfect amount of leadership in the locker room last year, and the perfect amount of people that transferred, because we really got transfers at key positions that we needed help with.
So that's how you win. You get transfers at key positions, but you can't get transfers at foundational.
And we lost a lot of our foundations with that transferred out. I think a lot of programs will lose foundational pieces because they transfer out to go other places.
Now, what I will say is probably the most embarrassing thing about this Florida State team is that now that we got like 3 or 4 more games to play, this team, I think, is more competent than the Willie Taggart teams, but has a worse record.
Yep.
That to me is like,
there is more talent on this team than there was on any Willie Taggart team.
And more competent. Like when it was like James Blackman and he was just lost for 3 hours. I was like, he doesn't even know to hand the ball off. He doesn't even know that it's a play action fake. He doesn't even know that
James Blackman belongs to Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah, but he played for Taggart.
But he played for Taggart when all that shift happened. But those teams were so incompetent, right? We're not. I don't think we're incompetent. We're just not. We don't have the attitude. The attitude is missing. I haven't seen it.
All right.
I ain't seen nobody ask for nothing. There's no leadership on our team.
Yeah.
Yeah. As Miami fans, Jay, AJack, what is your reaction to this, and what do you see from Florida State football?
Y'all probably don't see anything.
Mm-hmm. I mean, y'all watch them more than me, but I see incompetence. I don't like.
You see incompetence?
Yes, I do. I do see incompetence.
I'll give you incompetence on the defensive end for sure.
Like, because listening to the lead up of the Miami game, why I say incompetence is like, y'all most like the run play that y'all run the most, counter. The fact that y'all can't execute a counter and they bump it into each other and it's never clean, like the fact that y'all can't execute y'all like key play and like this Norvell regime, I feel like that's incompetence, because it's like y'all don't even do the shit that y'all usually good at.
I get what you're saying. That I'm judging execution and competence as 2 separate things.
Okay.
Meaning, I think they know what to do. They cannot execute.
Yeah.
The nigga knows to the right route to run. The nigga drops the ball. He can't execute.
All right. That's fair.
All right, that part I get.
What I'm saying with those Willie Taggart teams, niggas didn't know the plays.
All right, that's fair.
They're running for a screen pass instead of a counter.
That's fair. You basically saying like these niggas just garbage.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're trash.
That's fair. I get it.
Well, we saw the kickoff return where the guy got tackled by his own player, right, in the Florida State Miami game. And you kind of I looked at you. You just rolled your eyes. You were just like, "This is gonna be a long." You literally said in the text message, "This is gonna be a long game." That's what you said.
You said that in the text.
It's like, I feel it. I understand it. My thing is, I don't feel like this is an easy fix, because it's like, you basically have to go to transport again, and y'all have to replace probably every single position for the most part.
Maybe
everything.
Because
your recruiting class right now is at 43.
It's pretty sour though. We got Daryl Jackson from y'all, and there was a big hoopla.
And he's your best player. Daryl Jackson is your best defensive player.
Best player.
And so you're welcome. And he went there because his parents were sick. So you're welcome. I appreciate that.
Bro, you really believe that?
Nigga, he fooled you.
You really believe that?
That's hilarious.
But there's okay, cool.
Nah,
I mean, we're gonna hold on to
the crazy part. I believed it at first, but then when he was kind of like flip flopping on maybe going back to Miami, I was like, man, his mom ain't sick.
Yeah.
Nah, the nigga wanted to play.
I was like, bro, your mom ain't sick, bro. I was like, your mom ain't sick.
I mean, but I would say for a 13-0 season too. So I'm kind of like, okay. But Jay, what's your opinion? I know you and I have watched probably more FSU games than AJack has.
Yeah, I feel like I have talent. Like
Thank you. Like when you do the eye test, we have talent. When you did that with the
y'all
Willie
back
Tiger
seven?
teams, we
I'll
don't.
kill for y'all back seven.
Yeah, for sure.
We don't
Oh, yeah.
execute.
Oh, that definitely I would take.
I have an affiliate for Earl Little because his dad coached me in high school, and like I
Okay.
really do feel like him coming out. I really want him coming out of high school too. I really do feel like he's a great player. I didn't understand why he wasn't playing early in y'all season for some reason.
Who?
Earl Little.
Earl Little Jr.
Got
I
it.
don't
Yeah.
understand why he wasn't playing in the beginning of the season, but like I feel like I have great talent in the back end from what I've seen. Other than that, Joe Jackson, but other than that, I don't see any other talent. But like even Lawayne McCoy, like I follow high school down in Miami. He was a great player coming out, like a great dual two-way player. And I feel like his talents are being kind of wasted there too. He's now starting to play a lot now in the season, but y'all have talent there. Even Hakeem Williams, even though he can't catch the ball, he was very talented coming out of high school.
Right.
So there's talent there. I just don't understand like why.
We have no leadership on our team.
Yeah.
We don't execute either. Like
And I feel like y'all. I feel like when you say, "Oh, these kids don't want to stay for the develop or whatever like that," what may be. I don't think that's the kid. I feel like that's the culture you set apart.
Yeah.
I feel like the culture isn't as good as y'all sold it to be last year, honestly. Because if they're quitting, because
look at how many people left y'all. That I didn't understand.
Not because I'm a Miami fan, so I can tell when niggas quit, and these niggas are like they've been quitting since the Boston College game, in my opinion, and that was the second game of the season.
Yeah.
No, that's true.
So it's just like
Go ahead.
culture, like the culture that y'all talking about, bro, I get it though, like I get it.
For me, I'm not saying that we don't have a culture issue because we do. Clearly, you don't lose this much and there not be a culture issue. My thing is, do I think it is Mike Norvell's fault for our culture issue? My answer to that is no.
Then what is it?
Do I think that ultimately you're the head of the program, so you take the blame? Yes, that is true. He has to. But I do not think that it's his fault. Where it's like Willie Taggart, you could look and see that like he doesn't do anything about anything.
Yeah.
I've never seen Willie Taggart talk to anybody about any bad play or any of this, any of that. You've never even heard him coach. Willie Taggart used to pass blame. Willie Taggart used to be like, well, I'm not calling the offense anymore. You're going to have to ask so-and-so this.
Willie Taggart used to stand on the sideline like,
That's bad.
He did that.
Yeah, he did
Willie Taggart did that multiple times when he was asked why particular plays were called. He said, I don't know, ask Ken Briles. I was like, bro, you're the head coach. What are you talking about?
But all right, at the end of the day, as being the head coach, like doesn't that fall on Norvell, right?
It does, but what I'm saying is Mike Norvell has the culture's not being executed, but I don't think it's because Norvell hasn't. Okay, so I think about it as like, because I'm a manager and I compare the two to sports all the time, right?
For sure.
You can have a leader that does the culture, like he has the culture pieces, but if like you don't have great manager or assistant managers like me or somebody else, that message doesn't always get to the players like it's supposed to.
yeah.
So if you as the figurehead are a great figurehead and your surrounding pieces are not great, it's hard for you to get that message if you're not managing what you're supposed to be managing.
Yeah.
So it's like Mike Norvell has the message and the culture that he's preaching this, and this. His assistants are not pushing it out. Why? I don't know. There's a disconnect in that and of itself, but I don't think it's that Mike Norvell didn't have a plan or a direction for us to go in. I think that we just
You
executed.
just think the plan is not being executed correctly through his assistant coaches. So that's why I think there's going to be firing.
Yes. That's what I think.
Yeah. Fair. All right. Well, I guess that's only
Just because you can't turn our program over from what it had as Willie Taggart without being able to put together a culture. You just can't.
Okay, I can get that, but this gets to the point now too. This is his 5th year, and this is the 3rd time that y'all been under 500 in the 5th year. So is there still some misgivings when it comes to that? I know there got to be rumblings about it because this year, if y'all have done things y'all have done new levels of those y'all never done. Y'all never lost to Duke. Y'all never lost to Mac Brown. I mean, there are things that you and there's no kid. Duke is a solid team, good team, 6 wins. You know, should have 7 wins because they should have beat SMU. But North Carolina's not a good team. So Mike Brown's probably going to lose his job. There's that part too. It just, for me, at the beginning of the season, I'm like, okay, yeah, it's not that bad. Because I was like, yeah, this team is still talented. But
my thing is like, I guess what y'all are trying to say, like the difference between him and Willie Taggart is that like y'all still suck, but it looks different.
Yeah. It looks different.
And like, I think you can understand that kind of sounds like some bullshit. Like, you know what I'm saying? To like the outside noise. I totally get what y'all saying though. I really do. But like, I've seen other people say, look, Willie Taggart got fired for less. And I'm just like, hey, hey,
that's fair.
They're not wrong. They're not wrong.
No, they're not wrong.
They're not when you look at it from that standpoint. Though.
But remember, when Mike Norvell took over for Willie Taggart, he had to turn over and start and create a winning program. So he was allotted the first couple seasons of struggle. When he got to his 3rd season and got to 10-3, that was a sign of whatever was doing was working. And not just that, but there was progression. I genuinely, I'm not in the front office, so I can't say. I genuinely believe part of the reason why Willie Taggart lost his job was because the team they looked so incompetent. There was no hope.
It was bad.
Like, as you saying that,
I understand that. I do get that part. But when you go from 3rd, go ahead.
As you saying, Nova had to clean up Willie Taggart. Then Willie Taggart had to clean up Jimbo.
Yes.
Yes. But he made a big.
But
Willie, no.
I really don't know. I'm just asking. Like, y'all can go ahead and
start. Okay, go ahead.
Willie Taggart had to clean up. Willie Taggart didn't have to clean up not having athletes. Willie Taggart had to clean up a culture in the sense that I think Jimbo Fisher let a lot of things go that shouldn't have been, but it was because we're winning.
You got them run wild around Tallahassee.
Yeah,
like, that's basically what it was.
True.
That's what he had to
Willie Taggart
we weren't getting speeding tickets. All right.
Look, it may not be as bad as what Georgia had going on, but there are a lot of things that were happening that we found out later that were being squashed by Jimbo Fisher because y'all were winning.
Yeah,
but that's every program to a certain extent.
To a certain extent, but y'all had gotten out of control.
But what I would say was Willie Taggart tried to instill a Gulf Coast offense when he had nothing but pro players, because that's what Jimbo Fisher ran the day before. He did a terrible job trying to implement his new system with the current pieces that he had.
Them niggas and it looked on the look.
It looked bad.
It was
okay.
Terrible.
So that part I understand, but you talk about the progression. Now you're dealing with the
why
worst.
Are we pitching the ball?
I understand that part. You talk about the progression that Mike Norvell has been able to do. Now you talk about the worst regression in college football history, really, that you're dealing with at the moment. That's all I'm asking when it comes to. So are you sure that that's a 1-year fix?
I think the unfortunate thing is Florida State tenured Bobby Bowden, and we're not used to dancing and moving around with coaches as much. But this is a life and a lifestyle that many other programs have to deal with. I think we're probably gonna head in that direction where it's like UF, like bro, you in for 2-3 years, and if we don't see it, I don't care if you're Will Muschamp, I don't care if you're Dan Mullen, you out of there. And we're just gonna have to do that until it works. Now,
but my thing is, if you're alluding to this and you're alluding to firing Norvell, I think that does more damage to our program in long term than it does good, because he has the highest buyout.
I agree.
The highest buyout in college football.
Hear me out. I do agree with that, but I'm just like,
I think
how much of a leash does he get after this year? Is what I'm saying.
We had this 2 years, 2 years tops.
2 years tops, right?
2 more years, or just the year after?
He gets the end of this year, and then
I'll let Josh finish that. Cut him off.
He gets the end of this year, right? Then it's what it is. What it is.
Yeah.
Next year, we better see something. We better.
You need to win at least 6 games next year.
We need 6-6, and we need a bowl. We don't have to, but we need a bowl because niggas need to be hopeful about something.
Like, look, why I don't really think it's like a 1-year fix and we can end off with this is just like, I don't like it's, tell me, is there like young talent on the team that y'all like looking forward to seeing next year?
Yeah, I do have some young talent that I'm looking forward to seeing. Specifically,
I mean, the defensive backfield, is good. Is young.
Yeah,
For the most part.
Isn't the defensive backfield? Aren't they like going to the draft or like that, or like they?
as
No, they're
Thomas
like,
is
what, sophomores and juniors.
Cypress, Finchall
The
Cypress.
sophomores, like they're coming back next year. I think most of them.
Yeah, we have a couple young bucks that are getting down. We do have a lot to replace, but we do have a lot that is playing right now due to injury, due to lack of execution. And I think there will be opportunities for those guys to shine next year if they choose to stay.
Fair enough.
Well, I guess this is gonna have to wait and see on that. So, real quick, do you think UF has played well enough to save Napier's job?
No. Move on. Go move on. Let's go.
So AJack,
No, but the reason is because Florida has shown that they pulled the trigger too quick. Not because Napier is not turning things around.
Oh, yeah, for sure they do. They shouldn't even have Napier right now. They should have the previous coach.
They should have Mullen at the moment.
Yeah, he wasn't bad.
Yeah, they definitely have Dan Mullen at the moment.
Josh, do you think he played well enough to save his job? I think you literally just talked about it, so you can expand upon the point. Then we'll move on.
He saved his job maybe one other season, but I can honestly. The irony is that Mike Norvell will probably stay and Billy Napier go because I think they're
which is terrible.
I mean, I get it. I understand it as well. And I'm also Florida State. But to me, that's what the irony is. But hey, look, given what the strength of schedule was and the fact that they have the record that they have right now.
Exactly.
We were supposed to be in Florida's shoes and Florida was supposed to be in our shoes, but this is how it shaked out. Or this is what we have.
Okay. Well, that's one way to look at it. All right, let's get to the last topic. Then we're gonna get out of here. Heisman front runner. I've already said who I think it is for it. Basically, it's a 3-man race. I mean, in our form, you can put Dylan Gabriel in there at 4, but I think he is definitely at 4. So, but Travis Hunter, Alshon Jeffrey, Cam Ward. Who is your favorite and why? And then, do y'all think there's also a bias to the national plant for this award? And then we're gonna get out of here. So, Nick, let's start off with you.
I think there's a natural bias for this award, and it usually goes to quarterbacks, but I don't think it's going to go to a quarterback this year. I think that it should go to Jordan Travis, even though he has those 2 injuries.
You mean Travis Hunter?
Jordan 2 games where he didn't play. Or not Jordan Travis, you know what I mean. Travis Hunter, sorry. Well, it should have went to Jordan.
I thought it should have went to Travis too, but
But he got hurt, I mean, it could. I mean, he's been playing both sides of the ball. He's doing something that's never been done before. Even Charles,
a legitimate Thorpe Award.
Even Charles Woodson didn't do this, and he played both sides of the ball.
He's probably going to be a Biletnikoff finalist as well. So, that's something that Charles Woodson did not do.
Yeah, and he played both sides of the ball and won it, and he didn't do nearly as much as Travis Hunter
does.
So I think it's his to lose this year. It kind of feels lackluster this year for the Heisman race, but I think that's because the competition he's going up against is so lackluster, in my opinion. Now, I understand the Boise State running back is doing amazing and great things, but let's be honest, it's Boise State. Who really cares?
He's fallen off the last couple of days. He still had over 120 yards, but he hasn't been averaging as much. He's not averaging 10 yards a carry. So
I mean, there's that. Dylan Gabriel, I mean,
he shouldn't even be in the conversation.
Yeah,
but he's been consistent. He's had over 250 yards all purpose and multiple touchdowns in each game.
Yeah, he's good. He's a good college quarterback. But I mean, it really should go to,
Travis Hunter.
Yeah, Travis Hunter.
All right, Josh, you work with him. What is your opinion on it?
There are a few people that I think are greater athletes than me. And Travis Hunter.
Wow, really? Really?
You just been high-fiving yourself this entire podcast, bro.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, please.
Oh, okay.
Anyways,
that's crazy. Then why the hell you? Never mind.
You know what? No. Well, go ahead.
I'm just joking. But one thing I will say is Travis makes this look so easy. And me being able to see behind the scenes, This dude is the most normal dude. He's not like particularly like all about sports. You know what I mean? Like it's not like he like lives and breathes football. The dude goes home and he streams for a couple hours, spends time with his family, comes back and lives a very excellent football life. And I've never seen the game be as easy for somebody as it is for Travis Hunter just on a regular basis. But the dude is brilliant. I mean, the way that he's able to digest the playbook and know what to do, and the chemistry that he's able to build with his own team on both the offensive and the defensive side. I just think that those are things that other people aren't seeing. That to me is like this. If this guy like let this guy stop streaming and like go out and play as much as he can all day every day, and it's lights out. Like it would be very clear. But you know that he's living in a certain era where streaming is important and whatnot. More power to him. He's doing excellent, and I think he is my Heisman front runner because again, the things that we're seeing, you just don't see all the time or ever. So he's really created a lane of his own that's unique to him, and credit to the coaching staff for allowing him to be and put in position to be successful and for the work ethic that he's put into his craft and where he's at today. So I'm going with Travis. I do think Dylan Gabriel should probably get more shine, but I can and Cam Ward. I think Cam Ward probably would be my two. But it is what it is. But Travis for sure is my one.
All right. Jay, what's your opinion?
When it comes to Travis Hunter, one, I do feel like they need to win out. Probably need to win out for him to get the Heisman. I do feel like him missing time due to injury hurts him in this race. Actually, I kind of feel like because Travis Hunter missed time, that's why he's probably running third right now behind.
Well, whose body of work is better than what he's done this season?
Nobody's, but it's just the perception of your team. Yeah, you've done all this stuff, but your team's like 6-2.
Yeah, that's
lost to Nebraska, who almost beat Ohio State, but they almost did it. And
that Nebraska loss is probably going to look worse further down.
Especially since they got destroyed by Indiana like that
early game, and
I do feel like because they could if Travis Hunter finished the game, they probably could have beat Kansas State. But then it looks even worse that they won so handily against Arizona without him. Well, did he play that game?
No, he played Arizona.
Huh?
He played, but he only played the first half, right?
Yeah, I think he played the first half against.
Okay. That's why when I turned 2, he was in street clothes. But because of that is more like I just think the voters will dock him for that. And Aston Genty is still, even though he had a down game last week, he still had over 150 yards.
Yeah, I didn't like I really didn't like Travis' comments about Genty at all.
I was not a big fan of those.
What did he say?
Super funny.
He said that if you give him the amount of touches that Ashton Genty has as a running back, that he would have all those yards as well.
I like the competitive nature though.
The competitive nature, that's one part. They're two different positions. I don't think there's any reason to take away from what another player is doing. I think really you just add on to what you're doing. I think that's how he's been.
I have no problem saying I deserve the Heisman.
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
But like, we said some dumb shit like that, I was just like, all right, bro.
Josh Hunter ain't built like that. Let's be real.
I'm just like
used to, but I do like what Colorado is doing of campaign. I feel like Miami and Colorado are doing a very good job campaigning.
Yep.
When it comes to Heisman, because like I didn't expect to see Travis Hunter on Saturday.
Pulled up
in Pennsylvania. I did not expect to see that. When I turned it in, I was like, "What is Travis Hunter doing here?" So that's a very good.
Got the bye week
to get him in front of Heisman voters and stuff like that. But I just don't think he'll be unless they went out. If they went out and get to the Big 12 championship, and he shows out in the Big 12 championship, he will be your Heisman winner.
Fair.
If they lose, he'll be the Heisman winner if they just get to the
Big 12 championship game.
Yeah.
If they lose I think they had a couple of hard games coming up too, even though they're winnable. But if they slip up from now to here,
Yeah.
I think they have like 4
Yeah.
games left.
Do they play BYU?
No. We'll play them in the Big 12 championship.
Heard.
Fair enough.
If they don't slip up. But like, yeah.
I'm confident in my boys.
Other than that, if not, it's gonna be Cam Ward's trophy to lose.
You think so?
I think so.
I mean, his numbers are comparable to Joe Burrow's at the moment, but you have to see what happens these last 3 games. So when it comes
they're
to
better, aren't they? Or they're comparable?
they're comparable. No, like Joe Burrow threw for 60 touchdowns. Yeah,
we ain't never gonna see a season like
I'm
that.
saying, I'm not sure we're ever going to see something like that. But I mean, that being said, yeah, he's on that pace. He's only, I think, 2 touchdowns behind. But it's wild his playoff run. They happen. But AJack, what is your thoughts?
I think it's Cam, but I get the Travis discussion because he's doing something we haven't seen in a very, very long time. I don't know why Dylan Gabriel's in the conversation. That threw me off, to be honest.
I said at the podcast that we had at the beginning, I said, watch out for Dylan Gabriel in Oregon.
Yeah.
Because
Dylan Gabriel's not going in. He's going to be in the conversation because as long as Oregon keeps winning, Dylan Gabriel will be in the conversation.
Transferred over, and he's not a bad quarterback. I'm sure he's not consistent, but
he's been consistent.
You're in that Oregon program and you're able to win some games, string together, look impressive. You can have a Bo Nix season. You can have a Marcus Mariota season. You know, it's my thought.
I feel it, but just like I just don't. He's not doing anything elite in my opinion. I feel like he's just managing that great team right there. So I feel like Travis and Cam are doing like I feel like they're carrying their teams. That's why I don't really understand why Gabriel's in there. But yeah, I got Cam and I got Travis second, and I got Ashton third because Ashton's doing something we haven't seen in a long time as well. So yeah, that's how I feel about it.
All right, do you think there's a national slant on the award, guys? Like the perception of it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Quarterbacks.
There's quarterbacks, that part of it. Dylan Gabriel, even Cam Ward being part of it. Now, Cam Ward, I think, is a little bit more deserving because he is carrying Miami and the 25-point comeback with Cal, the play in Virginia Tech, the way he played against Louisville. There's that part to it. But also, too, I feel like – go ahead.
Go ahead.
But also, too, there's that part when it comes to it. It's like with this being a year that a lot of people are saying, hey, Travis Hunter can win it and everything like that. Do you think it'd be different if it wasn't a Miami quarterback that was first? Because I think when it comes to last, now I said his numbers were comparable to Joe Burrow's. His numbers blow out Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, and Bryce Young. His numbers are much better going through 9 games than those players, and they all won. So there's that part too. So now, technically right now he is the betting favorite, I think, along with Travis Hunter being right behind him. But it just seems like there's always a national slant on what these things can be. Even Dylan Gabriel being involved. And, people still mentioning other players as well. No, I think it's pretty clear. It's the 3.
Well, what I think, now that we're talking about it, to me, when I think about the national slants, I personally feel like Travis Hunt, like we could drop another game maybe, and Travis can still have 150 receiving yards, 2-3 touchdowns, and still be in the conversation. Whereas the quarterback Miami can lose 2 games or lose a game, and the conversation is out.
Probably, you're right.
And he can have a good game, but if you lose, it reflects a lot more poorly on the quarterback than it might be for Travis Hunter at this point.
I feel like Travis and Cam have both have their Heisman moment. I feel like Travis causing that fumble to win the game against
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and then Cam leading that 25-point comeback. So they both had a moment. So, but in addition to what you're saying, I do think you're right. I do think Travis and Colorado can lose a game because not that they're expected to, but at the end of the day, he's a wide receiver and a cornerback. Him playing great and them still losing doesn't really reflect that bad on him, honestly. Yeah. But with Cam as a quarterback, and if Miami loses to, as people think inferior competition in the ACC, I think people hold that more against Cam.
That's a good point. All right, good discussion, gentlemen. I don't know why I came out like that. Appreciate y'all coming on. It was really great talking about Florida State's shortcomings and Miami's coming up through and everything that's been going on with sports.
I'll talk to you next year. Okay, next year.
We will continue to speak, and like I said, we will mark it down this day, November 6th, 2024. Nick guaranteed 6
I hope
wins
this
for Florida
happens to
State
y'all next year.
So
What'd you say?
you guaranteed 6 wins. So I'm holding you to
We'll
that.
win
November
6
6th,
games next year.
2024.
We'll win 6 games.
All right. Like I said, I'm going to not mark it down in the calendar. We have it down. Y'all gonna see it on YouTube whenever y'all watch it. That's what we're gonna put down here. So gentlemen, thank y'all so much for coming up. For AJack.
Yep.
For Jay.
One thing, I predict the upset of Ole Miss over Georgia and Utah over BYU.
Really?
Ole Miss beat Georgia.
That's gonna pick up the Big 12, bro.
All right, so we're gonna have to get this episode out before the weekend then. All right then. All right, for Josh.
Thank you guys. Team X the GOAT, and appreciate it.
Yeah, just
all right.
go.
Let me ask you this: does T-Mac get a statue anywhere, whether it looks like him or not?
It gets one in my heart.
That's irrelevant.
There we go. All right, and for Nick.
Yo.
All right, this is your boy Music Nerd. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.